This has been a very nice experience. I have really liked the students. I like the faculty very much. And in particular, I like the DIREITO GV model of combining public policy, economics, business, and law. When I teach in the United States, I try to make my students understand that to be a good lawyer, or a good business executive, or a good government official, you have to know a little bit about everything. Law, business, public policy, and to a certain extent, a little bit of science and engineering as well. DIREITO GV does a lot of this extremely well, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy to be here. On occasion, and I do this a lot around the world, not just here in Brazil, we have problems with what I call U.S. legal English. Lawyers and business people in the United States sometimes use words in a very different fashion than those same words are used outside the United States, even though the words themselves are in English. That's one problem, but that's the fun of teaching a course like this. The second major problem is getting my students here in Brazil and in a number of other countries to understand what we refer to as the common law system. All the students here at DIREITO GV are very good at what we call the code system or the civil law system, because that is your heritage. In the United States, our courts are very powerful, our judges are very important, and not only does the legislature make law, but judges also make law. And it's an entirely different matter to understand how judges make law as compared with how the legislature makes law. That's the common law system, and that's always a challenge to get across how you work within a common law system to people who are mainly used to the civil law system. There are a number of differences between the United States and Brazil with regard to doing business. But what I have been finding over the now 40 years that I have been teaching and practicing law as an attorney is we're coming together. We have a word in English called convergence. And what that means is things come together. What I'm seeing in international business transactions, which is one of the courses I always teach in the United States, is convergence of many ideas, many issues, as between a lot of different countries. There is now, for example, a treaty on the international sale of goods. That brings convergence to countries. But at the same time, there are differences. And one of the things I've tried to do here at DIREITO GV is explain some of the differences between United States law and Brazilian law so that my students can see the comparison. Once they see how these two systems compare and conflict, then they are much better prepared to be either business executives, public policy specialists, or lawyers, both in the United States and in Brazil. There are a number of differences between government regulation in Brazil and the United States, but I spent a week in Brasilia doing some lectures there and meeting with a number of government officials. And what I have found is that the structure of government in Brazil and in the United States is very similar. We are a federation in the United States, a collection of states that has created a national government. You have a federation in Brazil. You have many government ministries in Brazil that are almost exactly like the government ministries we have in the United States. But some of the differences are, for example, the difference between the power of state governments in the United States and the national government. There are some very sharp differences there between the U.S. and Brazil. And once again, here at DIREITO, I've been trying to talk to my students about some of those differences. To that extent, I think we have been doing a very, very good job at comparing the two systems and alerting my students here at DIREITO GV to those differences in government regulation. But, and you can see that I'm smiling when I say this, government regulation has to be faced no matter where you are in the world. To be a good lawyer, to be a good business person, you really need to know how the government works.